It hasn't even been a full month since you and I discussed Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, being an amazing Vogue darling. They love her, she loves them, they've collaborated, and they're always taking every opportunity they can to uplift Meghan and speak of her in the highest regard. Well, here we are again today, and Vogue has come out with a blistering article in defense of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and her show on Netflix, With Love, Meghan. It is my pleasure to bring this article to you, so let's get started. Thank you for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm excited to bring you an article written by Mina Holland for Vogue, discussing Meghan's new Netflix show, With Love, Meghan. Now, many of us know, and if you don't, feel free to check out some of my videos from earlier this week and last week, that Meghan decided to postpone the premiere of her show, With Love, Meghan on Netflix, with respect to the LA wildfires. Obviously, we saw her and Prince Harry jumping into action in many different ways. I have 3 different videos talking about all of the amazing support that they offered and continue to offer, as well as their donations. Both their donations for supplies as well as monetary donations. They have truly continued to be rock stars, especially when it comes to those in need, and I cannot thank them enough or sing their praises enough. But there are 3 videos of me singing their praises, so feel free to go check that out, just so that you're caught up. However, in response to that, Meghan was very considerate, and she and Beyonce read the room and said, you know what, this isn't the time to premiere anything new. This is the time to come together and support a community in need, and that's exactly what they both did. Specifically Meghan, as she was there physically, she made monetary donations along with her husband, Prince Harry, and the Archewell Foundation. They've donated, they've shown up for different organizations as well, which we will get to tomorrow. They've really done a lot. And obviously just now wasn't the right time. They made an amazing judgment call, and I continue to applaud her. But aside from that, the show itself has been receiving extremely unfair and ridiculous criticism that I have gone out of my way to avoid until now. Usually, I try not to breathe life into anything negative because it's going to exist. Once I accepted that people are going to hate Meghan as long as there is air in the world and grass on the ground, there will be someone out there who are leaning into their bias and their ignorance and hating people who have done nothing wrong. And that's not just a Meghan thing. That's just, we have a section of society who are truly psychotic and biased and ridiculous. And they not only hate others, but because they hate themselves, they cannot accept the good in the world. And we just have to let them burn out and live their life being ridiculous. We just can't engage. However, when I came across this article in Vogue, I felt like Mina Holland pointed out several key points about the criticism, especially the criticism being received from other celebrities, which is just like, there is so much going on in the world, and this is what you're focused on. And not only the criticism in and of itself, but the fact that what they are saying is ridiculous. The actual criticism is silly. Now, if there was a real reason to have a criticism for Meghan or anything she does, go for it. Meghan is a public figure and she is tough as nails. She can take it, and she's always been pretty open to feedback, as we saw. However, where I think we need to draw the line is criticism for the sake of criticism, because we need to dig beneath that and figure out, what does this mean? What is this for? And I've already gone through that 1,000,001 times. Racism, misogyny, the usual, the little 2-point cocktail, you know how they do. However, Meghan has never been shy about being open to feedback and continuous improvement. Anyone who strives for greatness is open to feedback. Anyone who wants to do something good in this world, who wants to show up in this world in an authentic way, knows that they will make a misstep or two. The problem with the criticism coming at Meghan or any of the shows that she's in or anything that she does, anything that she orbits, is that it's not done in good faith. It's contrarianism. Sometimes people who don't have anything intelligent to say, but they want to be perceived as intelligent, or they want to be perceived a certain way, they criticize for the sake of criticizing, or they disagree for the sake of disagreeing because they feel like it makes them smarter, or because in some way they want to rile you up because they don't have anything going on in their life. They see you peaceful, joyous, whatever, and they want to disrupt that. We've talked about this before. That happens in my comment section all the time, where people will come in and just be like, Sharion, I hate that shirt. Don't ever wear that shirt again. Or I hate the way you said this word. Don't say it like that. Or why did you take so many breaths? Or why did you touch your hair? And it's like, you're criticizing for the sake of criticism. That's a you thing. That's not a me thing, because you do have the option to hit pause and go click another video from someone else. Like the fact that you come here and you nitpick me to the nth degree. And I'm not talking about fact checking or correcting or trying to help me with accuracy. That's a community effort. That's something that's going to happen. Valid feedback happens when you have community trust, like I have with the people who watch my channel. We have communal trust. We give feedback. I've gotten feedback before that was extremely valid. Always happy to come back and correct and say, thank you so much, such and such, for correcting me on this, blah, blah, blah. But criticism for the sake of criticism, I hate the way you say that word, or I hate the way you wore that shirt, or I hate when you talk about this, or I hate that you use that music, or you don't need to say what this and that. I always look at that for what it is: lashing out, projection, deeply unhappy person who's probably pretty insecure, and they just want to feel smart and important, and they want to stick it to somebody, and they want to put somebody in their place, but they never have that opportunity because, again, they're probably not that smart. And so they go at people who they think don't have the grounds to respond to them. And I used to get really riled up by it, because it's like, why? We could be having such a good time. Why do you ruin the fun? And then I realized, because baby, they don't want to have fun. They're miserable. And you being happy, and your subscribers being happy, and the chat being happy and fun and lively, and the comment section being happy and fun and lively, and Harry and Meghan and your subject matter being happy, fun and lively and productive and progressive, it pisses them off because they don't have anything to look forward to. Like, so they're nitpicking. Ignore them, block them, and go on about your business. But that's my experience on an extremely small scale. Less than 3% of my comments contain that now, thanks to my moderators, because y'all are badass. However, I cannot speak to an entire, not the entire country, but the majority of a country, or many people around the world finally having an opportunity to openly express their hostility towards women, and women of color specifically, or people of color. And so now they have one target. This is unfounded. This is unprecedented. And honestly, it has continued to thrive in this weird underbelly in society. It's like people have just decided, like, we just accept that there are people that are going to hate Meghan. And I actually hate that it's come to that, but we're at a place where we have to pick and choose what we comment on, because again, bringing it up breathes life into it. And so I decided to make a rule for my channel. If we don't have to talk about any negativity regarding Harry or Meghan, because it's never derived from them, it's never something they've done, it's something that other people are trying to project onto them or link to their name. And I had to make a decision, like, I'm not going to talk about those things because it just puts more attention on it. It breathes life into it. The caveat to that is, one, if it grows legs and it's starting to spread, once it becomes big, or once it's being discussed on several major outlets, or once it's become one of those things that people just regard as like common knowledge or whatever, when people are starting to believe it, then yes, I will try to use the small little platform I have to put out a correction, or to correct it, or offer some sort of contradiction in a public space, so that there is a counter argument. There is information out there that is correct. There is a contradiction to the nonsense. Now, that is the only time I truly step in and say something on my platform, is when I realize, oh, this is growing legs. People are actually believing this nonsense. Let's make sure there's at least one or two true responses to this, so that those things can have a counter argument. So when people Google that, they see this as well, and they at least have the opposing information, the true information, the accurate information. Either that, or if a celebrity gets involved, if another public figure or celebrity gets involved, then of course, then we'll talk about it, because obviously that's going to grow legs. And so I was kind of annoyed with, and I was ignoring the nonsense comments about Harry and Meghan going to visit the site of the fires, of which I thought, why is there a criticism for them helping? Again, revert back to the answers I gave earlier. People just want to hate. But also people hating on her show, a show they haven't seen yet. And all they've seen is a teaser, and the teaser was so much fun. Like, it was so energetic. It was lively. The music was fun. The scenes were fun. It was very interesting. Each scene offered something different. We were going to be seeing a lot of things from the show, a lot of different things. We're not going to be seeing the same over and over. It seems like it's going to be an extremely diverse show, as far as people, as far as guests, as far as subject matter, as far as activity. I'm excited about it. And obviously she's serving fashion in it as well. Every scene, she was looking great and different, and she just did all these really nice looks. I'm excited about it. And we saw Prince Harry. So the teaser was fun. People will do what people do, though, and they found something to whine about. And so again, I ignored it. I was like, yo, we don't have to talk about that. But the only reason I decided to talk about it today was because I came across this article in Vogue and I just felt Mina Holland dissected the criticism of With Love Meghan, specifically the show itself, not just the overall criticism and unfair treatment Meghan receives, but this show in particular. And I felt like she made those points so precisely that I just knew the people who watch my channel would enjoy this, because I did. And so I want to talk about it. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, you've probably been here a while, y'all. I started ranting before we even got to the article. My bad. So before we get into it, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Please don't forget to share, because I'm trying to grow my community here. And if you feel so inclined, comment along the way. Let me know what your thoughts are. So let's get started. Once again, this article is in Vogue, and you can find that at vogue.com, or you can use the link in the description box below under sources to read this article for yourself, or to just give it some traction. The title is "The Hate for With Love Meghan is as unfair as it is predictable." This was written by Mina Holland. But before we get into it, I just want to point out that this was published on January 11th. This was before Meghan announced that she would be moving the premiere date of the show from January 15th to March 4th. So just anticipate that there might be some inaccuracies. I'll try to correct them along the way. Quote, "We're not in the pursuit of perfection," says Meghan Markle in the trailer for her forthcoming Netflix series, With Love Meghan. "We're in the pursuit of joy." The show, which airs on March 4th, promises cooking, gardening, and hosting tips. But the preview overwhelmingly features food as she prepares focaccia, ceviche, and tiered sponge cake to share with high-profile friends in a California kitchen. The pursuit of joy might be a cutesy platitude, but it's a common one across food media, a simple notion that resonates with our need to be nourished and find comfort around a table. As a food editor of nearly 15 years, I know that eliciting joy is a guiding principle for almost anyone who cooks, professionally or otherwise. It is a sentiment so valid as to render it anodyne, inarguable in its feel-good vibes. But any words uttered by the Duchess of Sussex, the woman who splits opinions more than a jar of Marmite, instantly become weaponized. I should have known better than to be shocked. Meghan sensibly turned off the comments on her Instagram post about it, but a quick scroll through the Netflix feed reveals wide-ranging vitriol, including, quote, "Anyone who streams this should be deported," and, quote, "She doesn't know the meaning of love." This is a Technicolor, sound-on, flashing lights Trolls World Tour of trolling. I've always been able to get on board with Meghan. She stands for things, and the fact that she likes to cook just endears her to me more. I'm interested, though, in people's sense of her inauthenticity, which one comment goes as far as to call, quote, her brand. Her interest in food and drink is well documented and was a major feature of her one-time lifestyle blog, The Tig, itself named after her favorite wine, where she shared recipes and chef interviews. And it was food that helped her put her stamp on royal life. She enlisted, for example, the London-based Californian pastry chef Claire Ptak to make the cake for her wedding to Prince Harry, pairing lemon with seasonal elderflower from Sandringham, a step change from the fruitcakes of royal weddings past. In 2018, her first project as an official member of the royal family was the foreword to a recipe book with West London's Hubb Community Kitchen, a group of women displaced by the Grenfell fire, enabling them to continue cooking together for survivors twice a week in the aftermath of the tragedy. I also want to point out that she actually helped them with the book as well. Irrespective of her cooking credentials, Meghan has a track record with food. Quote, "Not her house, not her garden, not her recipe," says one comment, exposing not only that familiar resentment of Meghan's insistence on a right to privacy, but also the idea that she is somehow cheating. I wonder if audiences realize the extent to which much food television is staged. Do they think celebrity chefs film in their real home kitchens? Natural light, space, and a configuration are all major considerations for shooting food content, and it is rare to see a star cooking in their natural habitat. Moreover, the people you see cooking on screen will usually have a team of recipe developers as well as food and prop stylists. None of this detracts from their talent or authenticity, but it's important to recognize that even if the setting is ostensibly domestic, there are still productions. From baked fish with roast wine tomatoes to crostini and what look like little iced donuts, it's unlikely that the recipes in this series will show us anything new, but it is notoriously difficult to do anything truly innovative in cooking. I've commissioned and edited enough recipes to know that they are seldom without precedent elsewhere. That doesn't make them unoriginal. In fact, I think that's the beauty of cooking. A dish can be adapted and respun indefinitely, and is as much about the person who makes it as the recipe, literally and figuratively shaped by their hands. With Love, Meghan might be a saccharine series title, but it embraces the romance of cookery. What's more, audiences want simplicity. In all the years I worked on The Guardian's food supplements, readers were consistent in their appetite for simple, quick, healthy meals. When talent gets this right, witness Jamie's 30-minute meals or the frankly insane market for air fryer books, people are propelled into the kitchen. Food media exists not to make a chef out of you, but to entertain and perhaps inspire you to cook. Meghan is adding to that oeuvre. Is anyone really going to watch With Love, Meghan expecting culinary innovation, though? She doesn't purport to be a chef who will dazzle you, but someone who enjoys cooking for friends at home. Okay, so those friends might include actor Mindy Kaling and her Suits co-star Abigail Spencer. And okay, it might not be her real home, but a well-lit, spacious Montecito studio kitchen with exemplary produce and glossy cookware. But this is Meghan Markle, Hollywood actor, entrepreneur, and Duchess. Glossy is why we're watching it. Quote, "No average person wears million-dollar jewelry while squeezing lemons," wrote someone. No, babes, but it's precisely because she's not an average person that she's squeezing those lemons on Netflix. You know, I love her. I love Mina Holland because she's so sassy, but she's 100% right. There are also some suggestions that this show peddles the trad wife image. Now that ticked me off. I did comment on that. Does Meghan in the kitchen amount to domestic servitude? This is a dangerous conflation and an insult to women who choose to cook. And speaking of dangerous conflations, I should mention the many comments accusing Meghan of stealing the IP of Emma Thine, Marchioness of Bath, because the world doesn't have space for more than one Black woman married to an English aristocrat who happens to cook on television. Food is by definition universal, but it should also be unifying, and it often is. Before I continue, I also want to point out, anytime Emma Thine, the Marchioness of Bath, has been asked about Meghan or asked to comment on Meghan or anything like that, she has always been extremely supportive and has always offered nothing but the sweetest and kindest words to Meghan and nothing but her support. She has never allowed the British media, and they have tried, she has never allowed them to pit the two of them together. She has always refused. Now, if only Meghan's sister-in-law had taken that cue, then maybe we would have been getting somewhere. But, you know, the Marchioness of Bath is such a woman of class. I absolutely adore her. I have a couple of videos on her because her style is just amazing. She's also best friends with Kitty Spencer. So she's in good with the royals. She has like friends and all that stuff. Obviously, her husband's an aristocrat. So she's there and she gets it. She's in those circles. But one of the things, and she comes from wealth and status as well. Her dad is Nigerian and he comes from very high status as well, which we talked about before. But anyway, she's always handled those comparisons, those comments, those baiting questions or comments. She has always handled those with such precision and beauty and kindness. And I've always just loved the way she handled that, because whenever those comparisons first started getting made, I was like, oh no, they're going to try to do the pit the two women of color against each other thing. And I loved how Emma Thine has never fed into that. And I don't know that Meghan has ever even been asked about her publicly to comment, but I'm sure Meghan would have handled it the same way. They're both women who believe in the power of unity and the power of women and only look to uplift. And I love that both of them have always handled it that way. I was struck by a piece by the war photographer Giles Dooley in last weekend's Financial Times, who said, quote, "Food is the opposite of war. It is how we bring people together and how we show love. In food, I find my peace." The fact that it has become her troll's latest battleground marks a sad and tedious continuation of the misogyny and racism surrounding Meghan Markle. She hit the nail right on the head. And I really appreciate the way she chose to illustrate her point, especially coming from a food editor. Like, this is her whole world: food editing, media surrounding food, celebrities, royal family members, public figures. This is her whole world. She would know better than most what it takes to put on a production like this, and also what audiences want to see. And I love that not only did she defend Meghan just because it's the right thing to do, but she defended her right to have this project, as well as her expertise in the field. Like, this is Meghan's world. She's always been a foodie. She's always been very open about how much she loves to cook and how much cooking means to her, and all of the amazing symbolism that comes from cooking for people that you love and offering them something to experience when they come and see you. And she's also done, when she did an interview with Good Housekeeping, and they asked her about, like, what do you want for a dinner party, or what do you take to a dinner party? And she talked about a perfectly roasted chicken, which later we found out that's what she was cooking when Harry proposed. So we might want to get that recipe if you're trying to get that ring. But besides that, Meghan has talked about how much she connects food with love, friends, and family. And I just think this is a passion project. For anyone to find something negative to draw from this, we know immediately that that was just their intent from the beginning. Meghan could literally cause world peace. She could feed everyone and end world hunger. She could end every war. Like, Meghan could come out here and fix every single problem in the world and every single problem people have. And they would still be like, well, she didn't fix it fast enough, or she didn't fix it in the right way, or she didn't fix it with her hair in the way that I wanted her to wear it, or she didn't wear the watch I wanted her to wear. They will always find something. And I love that people who are in the media and people who are in the know with those platforms, like Mina Holland, like Vogue, like the people who choose to step out and speak in her defense, I appreciate that they use their platforms as well as their status and their expertise to point out how not only is the criticism ridiculous, but it is extremely undeserved. And Meghan deserves the same support, or at least the opportunity to garner the same support as any other person with a cooking show or any other kind of project on Netflix or any other platform. It's not fair to her for people to immediately see her name attached to something and go on the attack. But as we know, people will do that. People will nitpick anything. Even in my last video, when I talked about how I thought Harry and Meghan were just such excellent leaders, even though they don't hold public office, and how I thought they are public figures who do it right. And I wish more people would adopt a lot of their strategy, those in which who have public office and whose decisions affect people in the region where they serve. And I just wish more people would look at how Harry and Meghan do it and adopt that, because it would help the world, because the way they do it is so compassionate, so hands-on, so innovative, and so direct. They get straight to the problem and they help the communities in need. And I wanted more world leaders to adopt that strategy, because it's the right way to go about it. I mean, it's not glossy, it's not fancy, it's not this super complicated way of going about it. It's just giving a damn, showing up, and doing good. And I wanted more people to adopt that. And I also went on to say, and I know Harry and Meghan don't need to hold public office or anything like that. They're doing an amazing job, and they're also highly impactful in affecting communities already, so they don't have to hold public office. But what a wonderful world it would be if they did, because all the people that they would be able to help from that position and from that standpoint would be insane. And they would also continue to show how it's done. And I was like, I don't necessarily want them to, but boy, if they did, it would be amazing. I felt like that was a pretty standard statement, because it shows my opinion, but it doesn't mean I'm putting any pressure on them to do anything that they're not inclined to do already. It's just an opinion of how well they are positioned for leadership. And there were still people complaining about that. Harry and Meghan don't need to do anything but what they're already doing. You don't need to tell them what to do. And I was just reading that like, man, people, hug your kids. Hug your children. Let them know that they are worthy and that they deserve to be in this world and take up space. Let people know, let your children know that they are loved and supported, so that they don't go into the world and become adults who lash out just for any form of attention and look for a problem just for some attention. They need that validation so bad that they will create a fight for no reason. That's actually what I hear from that. I didn't take any offense to that, because I know what I said was well-intentioned, and it was said exactly the way I wanted to say it, and it made the point I wanted to make. Case in point, my actual subscribers, the people who are here all the time, got what I was saying and absolutely agreed. And we had great conversation around it. Like, I didn't say they had to hold public office, but I said, boy, if they did, they would be highly impactful. They would continue to be rock stars, because they're just natural leaders. For some people to attack me over that, I just said, people should be hugging their kids more. Because this is exactly what happens. People go into the world not knowing that they're worthy, and that they have a voice and their voice is useful, and that people actually listen when they speak, and that they are validated on a personal level as well as on a public level, that they are validated and they are worthy and they are loved and they are cared for, so that they don't go on the internet and attack people just for some semblance of control, some semblance of attention or validation. It's actually quite sad. I actually don't take offense to that stuff anymore. I just delete it and I continue to let you be invisible, which probably doesn't help the lashing out, but that's not my job to fix you. But just that alone, just any affiliation with Harry or Meghan, even people who quote unquote claim to support them, which we already know they love to throw on that cape so they can get into our circles and create division. I've always seen that as the case for a lot of these quote unquote trolls who support Harry and Meghan, but they then troll the positive channels. I've seen that for a while. You guys and I have talked about that a couple of times. But aside from that, I don't get offended by it anymore. I just delete it. I just said, wow, that was intentionally taken that way just so that you could have this moment. You're going to have that moment by yourself. This is a place of community and positivity and honesty and authenticity and engaging in an authentic, in a very real way. We don't pick fights to pick fights. We just don't do that over here. You can go try that somewhere else. I'm pretty sure the hate troll channels would welcome you and that kind of energy and that kind of spirit, but you are not going to get that energy and spirit here, which is exactly why my comments don't go up until 24 hours later, because I have people who review them now so that we don't have issues like that. I want people to feel free and safe to engage, and they don't have to worry about someone nitpicking them about the punctuation they used in their comment, or you don't need to use that emoji, blah, blah. No more of that. More of that. But it's divisive, not because of Harry and Meghan. It's divisive because people have decided to try and make Harry and Meghan's image divisive. They want people to be uncomfortable supporting them. They want people to think twice before they speak out on their behalf. They want people to feel reticent when it comes to supporting them or defending them. They want people to be uncomfortable so that they don't, so that those people have free reign to attack them, because they know that they can silence others by mob attacking them, which is why I support every single positive Harry and Meghan channel on every platform, whether I know or like or get along with or whatever the creators. Most of them I haven't interacted with at all, but the ones that I have, I absolutely adore. But regardless of how I feel about the person, I always support the positive channels that are out there trying to represent Harry and Meghan in a positive and an honest and authentic way. And they're sharing the stories that need to be shared and helping to suppress the nonsense that needs to be suppressed. That is why I want there to be so many channels that haters just don't have a chance. I don't mind if there are 56 positive Sussex channels and we all talk about the same thing 56 different ways. I do not care. I'm not in a competition with anybody. I'm not rushing. I'm not racing. I'm just sharing my perspective on a topic that I'm very passionate about, and that's supporting people who are out here trying to make the world a better place. And the more of that there can be, the better. Share those positive Sussex channels, share them, post them, link them, share them with me. Let me know. I want to follow all of them. I want to share all of them. I want to support all of them because there are too many haters to count at this point. But one thing I have noticed is that there is a very large community of people who are advocates for truth, fairness, and honesty. And those are the people supporting Harry and Meghan. And that's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence. The people who support Harry and Meghan very clearly have common sense. That's the side of history that I want to be on, if we're just going to be honest. But at the end of the day, the community continues to grow. It's already a very large community, but it also continues to grow. And that is due in no small part to the many people who are bravely stepping up to speak out on their behalf, to speak out to protect them, to speak out to defend them. And Mina Holland is absolutely one of those people. Good for her for using her platform, and good for Vogue for continuing to support Harry and Meghan. And here's the thing, Vogue doesn't support people for no reason. They are very serious about who they align with and who they back. And the fact that they are not backing down when it comes to supporting Meghan, especially since the trolls are always trying to flood their comments, I commend them, which is exactly why I subscribe to their physical print magazine as well as their website. I like to support in tangible ways people and organizations who are doing things in the right way with the right spirit. I appreciate Vogue as well as every other publication who strives to get it right and represent everyone, but particularly Harry and Meghan in an honest way. Good for them. Y'all let me know your comments and thoughts in the comment section. I just ranted. I'm sorry. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I just wanted to take a super short break to say, if you have not already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you are interested, feel free to participate in the live chat going on now, or feel free to leave a comment if you do not wish to engage in the live chat. Once again, I know I do this all the time. I'm enjoying a channel, I'm enjoying the video, I'm just having a great time, and I completely forget to hit subscribe. So please don't forget to hit subscribe. Don't forget to comment if you wish, and please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button so that the algorithm on YouTube knows that you like my content. Now, let's get back to the show. Once again, good for Vogue, Mina Holland, everyone there on that platform who continue to stand up for Harry and Meghan. I really appreciate the fact that they will not be swayed. They will not lean into sensationalism and clickbait headlines and just trying to appeal to the mass army of trolls. They stand with integrity. They stand for truth, authenticity, and I can get down with that. I appreciate that. It is all too easy for publications to go for the low-hanging fruit, the trolls who intentionally mass click on things so that negative articles can be pushed to the top and the positive and the honest articles can be pushed to the bottom. It's easy for those publications to lean into the almighty dollar rather than integrity. And I appreciate that Vogue has built such a reputation where they don't have to be swayed by that nonsense. They are Vogue. And the fact that they are Vogue and they're essentially untouchable and they chose to back Harry and Meghan says everything about them. And I appreciate that. The fact that they will not go along with the nonsense, especially since they do get negative comments and all that kind of stuff, and they stand firm. Good for them. I will always support people and publications and organizations that stand for truth and honesty, and Vogue seems to be one of those. But this is yet another instance of Meghan being a Vogue darling. They are always speaking about her, especially in an uplifting and positive tone, and this was no different, and I had to share. So I hope you enjoyed today's article. I'm also going to follow Mina Holland across social media. Y'all know how I do. I keep a list of reporters and writers who speak positively of Harry and Meghan, and those who have tried to shade them and be rude and snarky. I keep a list of them too, and I don't click on their articles. I have a whole database. And over the last 4 years of doing this channel, it has gotten quite big. And so I don't care though. I want to make sure that I am contributing to the good in the world. And that means clicking where I need to click and not clicking where I don't need to click. I don't want to give people who don't deserve it any traction. And that goes for the whole publication. If you publish a certain amount of negative articles, regardless of the different reporters, I'm just going to look at you as a whole as a shady publication, and I won't click on you at all. There are several publications that I used to read articles from and talk about, and now you don't see them nary on my channel, nowhere. I'm not putting them here because although my channel is small and they're not going to care if 30,000 people don't listen because they probably have millions of people listening and reading and all that stuff. I don't care. You're not going to get my 30,000. So that's all that matters to me. So that is all I have for y'all today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm excited about this week. We have so much more to talk about, and I'm trying to sparse it out so that each day we have something unique to talk about. But I hope you're enjoying this video. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please don't forget to share so more people can find us and join our positive, fun, and thriving community of Sussex supporters. That's all I have for y'all today. Happy New Year, y'all. Have a great day. Bye.